Hello, my name is Victoria Malta, and this is You and Your Mental Wellness. I'm the host and producer of this show, and we've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years now. And the purpose of the show is to showcase people in recovery from mental health issues and or substance use issues. And I have had people from all over the state of Connecticut on my show, leaders, ordinary people, all have in common recovery. And tonight, before I introduce my guest, I just want to share something from a book that I have here called Pathways to Recovery. And it has a definition of recovery-based stories, life stories, and their definition of what recovery is. So some of them, I'll just read a couple of them about what they define recovery as being. Recovery is an ongoing journey of self-healing and transformation. Recovery is reclaiming a positive sense of self despite the challenge of psychiatric disability. Recovery is actively self-managing one's life and mental health in order to control psychiatric symptoms, create a positive lifestyle, and achieve higher levels of wellness. And recovery is reclaiming roles in a life beyond being a consumer in the mental health system. So just to share a little for a couple minutes about myself, and then I'm going to introduce my guest. As you know, I'm a person in recovery too, and it hasn't been, for me, it's been, I would say, definitely not A, B, C, D, E type, linear type thing. I've been in recovery for over half my life. I was diagnosed when I was 24, and recently I had a setback at a job that I was working at, and I really didn't think that I would have a setback, but it happened, and I felt the need to kind of just protect myself like in a cocoon, in a shell, for a little while and build myself up again. And to me, that's what recovery is. It's healing, it's self-healing when you've been hurt or have gone through something that takes so much out of you. It's bouncing back, but it takes time too. And I just wanted to introduce my guest tonight, Anissa Maroka, and I wanted to ask you, first of all, why don't you just explain what you do, what your job is, and what you do at your job, and then you can tell me how you would define recovery.
Okay. I am a primary service manager at Catholic Charities in New London. And what I do is I provide extensive home-based case management for families who are recipients of temporary family assistance, which is cash assistance from the state of Connecticut. They need the assistance because they have dependent children and they're currently not working or working but fall below a payment standard that makes them eligible for assistance from the state. And what I do is I come into the home and we have assessment tools that we use to assess the family to identify any significant barriers to gainful employment or just barriers to success. The name of the program although I'm hired by Catholic Charities, I work for a program that is funded by the Department of Social Services and the Department of Labor. And it's called the Empowering People for Success program, and it's administered by the Connecticut Council of Family Service Agencies in Wethersfield. And so we assess the families and we see whatever significant barriers they would have to being successful, which could be anything from lack of childcare to lack of transportation, unemployment, an education barrier, a language barrier, domestic violence, a criminal history, mental health issues, substance abuse issues, a lot of different, there's a scale of a bunch of different things that would make people qualify for the program. It's referral based, so I have to receive a referral from the Department of Social Services or from a work placement program called Jobs First Employment Services, which is affiliated with the American Job Center, which is formerly called Connecticut Works. So when you're a TANF recipient, you have to participate in this program. And what they do is they help you either gain a skill or continue to make efforts in job search to be self-supporting. And when they fall short of complying with that program, or they have significant barriers that are identified by the folks at the job center, they're referred to me. So I go out into the home and assist in any way that I can with, helping them fill out paperwork for Care for Kids, which is assistance with child care, getting them referrals for behavioral health services, or into drug treatment if that's necessary. I'm a DCF mandated reporter. If there is a major issue where the children are at risk, I am required by law to report that.
So do you have a social work background, or?
I have a bachelor's degree in human development and family relations from the University of
great.
Connecticut.
So it's kind of right up your alley.
Yeah, human services. Yep.
Right. Well, it sounds like it's very challenging, and so you've been doing that for a couple years now, because we've met before, and you told me before that you had another job where I want to talk about that a little bit too, because you did mention to me how you were at that job, and I'm getting off the track because I wanted to ask you about recovery too, but how you were trying to advocate for somebody at your last job, and you ended up being reprimanded for that, which I thought, I couldn't believe that. And I want to hear that story too.
Okay.
But before that, how would you define recovery for yourself?
For myself, along the same lines of some of the things that you highlighted there, it is a journey, I believe, a journey of healing, a journey of rediscovery. I am in recovery from substance abuse and mental health issues. I think that I was on a journey all along. I just now, as a person in recovery, I have a different perspective on what that journey is. And how the universe is kind of working with me to keep myself safe and healthy.
So it's really an inside job. You have to do a lot of the work within yourself. Wouldn't you say that for recovery? That
Correct.
You can't really, some people think all you have to do is take a pill, and then everything will be fine, like as if you have a headache or something and taking aspirin. It's not like that at all.
No, and actually that is part of my story. I have been through extensive behavioral health therapy most of the years of my adult life, and been on psychotropic medication. I had the belief that, in the medical model, that it would help me. And in hindsight, after, removing drugs and, unhealthy decisions from my life, I realized that the medicine wasn't really positively helping. And I made a decision in 2013 to stop taking psychotropic medication and to look for other things outside myself to help with the healing.
So would you say they're like your coping mechanisms?
Yeah, things like guided meditation and just things that I enjoy. I have a pet, which is very soothing for me. I have very, very strong family support. I enjoy, friends and activities outside, and my journey's kind of been from homeless to homeowner.
That's wonderful.
So it's kind of, almost homeowner.
That's exciting.
Kind of, I take pride in those things, because when you don't have those things, or you take those things for granted, when you come to a place where you're can love yourself just a little bit, those things become important.
Right. So it has been a journey, and I was going to ask you about, I wanted to bring something up about, have you ever heard of Robert Whitaker? I don't know if you've heard
I
of
have.
him or not.
Mad
in America.
Mad in
And he
America,
wrote
yes,
this-
I saw him speak.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, last month I was on the show. I mentioned a book that he wrote called Anatomy of an Epidemic, and I wanted to bring up about the medication thing, because I think it's important for people to see that he seems to be very anti-psychiatric medication, and just like a lot of people feel that that the medication is keeping them disabled and keeping them held back. And I just want people to say that everybody's different, and everybody's story of recovery is different and individual. And I felt that from that book, I think some people can take it, medication, and some people can't take it, and it doesn't work for them. But I just want to emphasize again, because, and I think you probably agree too, that everybody's different. You know, everybody's recovery journey is different, and some people may have to take medication.
Yes, there's many avenues to recovery. I
Right,
do believe that.
but
I
it
do.
sounds like you've found a way for yourself where you're doing really an exceptional. You're doing great, you know, with your life, and so I have some information about when your journey of recovery began. You said you've always been on a journey. At the time before getting into the recovery, what was your life like?
My life was very unmanageable. My life was consumed with thievery and dishonesty, and you know, just I was very sick, and I made poor choices, and you know, I had morals and values instilled in me as a young child, and when you lose your choice to make healthy decisions due to addiction to substances, you know, it's a difficult reality, you know, when you realize, you know, where you've been and the things that you were willing to do, because that's not truly who I am. So prior coming into recovery, I always felt that I needed something to complete me. I felt that something was missing, and that you know, that I didn't know where my place was, where I fit in, and you know, what my purpose was. And to getting into recovery, and I got a college degree in 1993, and it wasn't until I came into recovery that I utilized it. So it's kind of a funny thing.
But you know, that's huge that you got your degree. You know, it's because so many people want that, and they're not. Some people can't, you know, and I think to be able to have your degree and get a job that's where you can use your degree and you feel like you're using your gifts and your strengths and what you're good at. Does it feel like a good fit now with the?
It does, and things have been coming to fruition where I'm starting to be recognized for my efforts, and I've always, you know, throughout my active addiction, I struggled to keep a job, and you know, now things are, you know, I've been made Employee of the Month. I've been nominated for an award. Things have really changed for me, and I know that a lot of it is efforts on my own part, but it's also, I just think that you know, it was my destiny to find this road on the journey. So, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the opportunity to experience recovery. I am.
That's great. So you don't feel like there's a hole now or something that's missing?
Well, I think all my answers are within, and I think that there are still some things that I struggle with. However, I think that each day it gets easier. It gets easier to look in the mirror and feel good about myself, and to you know, to help others.
Right.
You know, because I know that, you know, sometimes when you're that relationship for someone that they've never had that type of relationship where you're an advocate or a comrade, it can be life-changing. And I know for me, the support that I've had from my family and from other people in recovery, and even from, you know, the folks where I work, it keeps you going, keeps you in a positive space, keeps me moving forward. You know, and you asked about my last job, and the job prior to this, I was a peer. So when my employer recognized that I was a person in recovery with past issues, and my job was to help folks that are finding their way on the journey. So there were folks with severe or persistent mental illness or severe and persistent substance abuse issues, and I was advocating for a woman that I had been working with for maybe a year, and she had suffered from paranoid schizophrenia, and she was having some dental issues, and she had to have teeth extracted and then was going to be fitted for some dentures. And I took her 3 different appointments to a dentist, and the person who did the dental work and the extractions was only available on the weekend, so we had to get special permission to go. And they had taken 2 teeth out. They recommended 2 teeth out each time, let those heal and take out the other teeth. And at the end, it was her front teeth that had to come out. And, she was, when a person is challenged that way, we want to make sure that they understand. The doctors actually wanted to make sure that she understood what was happening. So they called me into the room, and I explained that her 2 front teeth would be extracted today, but that she would be getting fitted for the denture after she healed. Mm-hmm. And she clearly said that she understood that. And as we were leaving the dental office, one of the, I think it was the office manager actually, had indicated that there would be a large bill. And once that bill was paid, then they would fit her for the denture.
Oh.
And that was something that was not indicated at the beginning.
Right.
Because she was going to walk out today with no front teeth, and I wanted to ensure that she had some dignity.
Right.
Yeah. And so I was questioning this person, and she started to say that she, didn't like being questioned, and and I was persistent about the fact that because this person's on a fixed income due to Social Security, it would take months, many, many months before she could pay that bill off. So she would walk around with missing front teeth for all of that time.
Right.
And I voiced that I didn't feel that was fair. Mm-hmm. And so she wound up calling that happened on a Saturday. She called my employer on a Monday, and she submitted this big complaint, and that I was lacking professionalism. That she had said some things in the office too that I felt were discriminatory towards my client. Mm-hmm. And anyway, they wound up, for whatever reason, based on, their decisions, that they no longer wanted me to work there. Mm-hmm. So, but I still believe that what I did was for the right reasons.
Right. Right.
And I even, and months later, I saw her locally, because where I worked was in the city that I live in. She still had no front teeth.
Oh, really?
So
wow.
The agency that I was terminated from never really followed up.
Wow.
In months later. So
that's really
that's so
good.
I just know that and it was hard for me to be separated from my clients in that manner, because I had really established bonds with folks and enjoyed my job. But it's sometimes when you advocate, you're not always welcomed, or you're not always supported, and sometimes if you stand for something, you stand alone, and in that case, that's what it was. So
well, let me ask you, well, you were a peer in that situation, and you're not a peer in this.
No, I'm not.
Oh, I don't know if I'm sorry right for me to say that or not, but how do you feel about self-disclosure and
my own for my own recovery? I feel that it's my choice, and I feel that if it's appropriate, where it would be beneficial to help the client, then I will disclose that. Mm-hmm. To them, and there have been situations where it has been helpful, because people don't feel, especially because I'm coming into the home, they feel I'm representing the state of Connecticut. It's going to affect money coming into the household.
Right.
They don't want to be totally honest about a drug issue, or their inability to take care of their children to the to whatever people feel that standard is. Mm-hmm. And in the times that I have disclosed about my own journey, folks have said that they feel much more comfortable talking to me. They're more likely to invite me back or keep the appointment if I come back. And it's tough to come into someone's home, because that's their sacred place, know. And a lot of times, if I'm unable to locate folks by the mail or on the phone, I have to do outreach, which is cold knocking on your door to find you. And so people are not always welcoming, because they don't know who you are. I mean, any stranger knocking on your door is not always welcomed. So, but I've found in the times that I have disclosed my own personal journey that it's been beneficial.
So you think that there is a place for people in recovery to work as peers and
I do, and even as not as peers. I mean, because
Or
sometimes
just
when you
work in general?
yeah, when you suffer, from many, many years of addiction, as I did, I didn't have really credible references, and I had a lot of moving around from job to job. And where I work now, they had asked several questions, and I felt, after doing some work on myself and having a little bit more confidence, that I could tell the truth. And I explained, limited, but I explained kind of, how, why my resume hopped around, and I was able to tell the truth. So there are significant managers at my job who know my situation, but it isn't something that has been used against
Any
me.
major issue or whatever, or
Nope.
just
And it's a lot of times I've had clinicians and folks come in and ask me for my personal opinion because I have lived experience with being a participant in a recovery program or a
Right.
treatment facility, and for folks that haven't, that perspective is helpful.
right. Now you said that one of the things that you wanted to do is to develop a longevity to your job experience.
Yep.
And so you want to grow with this job, and you told me what you want, what your future goals and dreams were, and if you want to talk about that, about
Because, as I said before, I had trouble keeping a job, not getting one. I usually was able to get one because I did have the college degree and I'm a quick learner, but however, keeping one was more difficult.
Right.
I would like to find longevity in my position, or maybe even, I was just talking today about returning to school for a graduate degree.
Oh, that'd be great.
So that I could get, a different type of position where I worked. Or, just the sky's the limit, really, and it's never too late. And, I mean, I guess I was a late bloomer to adulthood, and responsibility, but I'm here now.
Yeah, I think you're a survivor and a thriver, and I think, I think that the fact is that you are in recovery now, and you've changed your life, and you're doing incredible things. You're helping people who really need your empathy and understanding, and to me that it doesn't matter how old you are, or the main thing is you got it. You caught on, and I mean,
I've had a lot of help, though. I've had a lot of support from other addicts in recovery. Again, from my employer, specifically from my parents, from a significant other.
They were very supportive. Your
They were.
parents?
There were times when I had given up, but they never have.
Wow.
And
Did
for
they-
that I'm grateful. I am.
Did they were they educated about mental health issues, and like, did they ever go through like NAMI to the family to family?
Nope.
Or?
It was kind of they learned as they went,
Uh-huh.
and it's a difficult journey in the family dynamic, I think, because they loved me,
Right.
and to see you kind of your life falling apart, and a profound personality change, which is, I'm sure, what they witnessed. They encouraged me to keep doing what I could, and I'm grateful for that. Today they're still very, very supportive in all I do.
That's
And,
unusual, because they don't have any stigma, or any. They're not afraid. They love you unconditionally.
Yes, and that was my concern about also being on your program. I grew up here, and I was saying, I'm going to be on community access television, and what will people think? And my own mother said, it doesn't matter what they think.
Right, and the more people come out and talk about it, the more it's going to turn into an acceptance down the line. The more people come out and share about their stories, and it's the only way. It's like a social change
Yep.
type thing, and it's nothing to be ashamed of or anything like that. It's a forum to have people come on and show that people can do well and live meaningful, hopeful lives, and
Yep.
and get on with their lives in spite of discrimination and things like that. So I'm really glad that you were on my show and shared your story, and maybe you can be on the show again in the future.
Well, that would be nice. I think there's many definitions to success. So
Yeah, they're all different kinds. So I'm going to have to stop now. But thank you very much, Janisa, for coming on the show, and good luck to you in your future and getting your own home. That's going to be really exciting.
yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.